All right, let's get right into it. We all know NVIDIA. They make the chips, the GPUs that are basically the engine of this whole AI revolution. So what on earth are they doing building a security system for a completely free open source AI project? That's the paradox, and that's what we're going to unpack. So this whole thing really kicked off when NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, gets up on stage and says this about a project called OpenClaw. He called it the most important software release probably ever. I mean, he put it right up there with Linux and HTML. That is a massive statement, and it's really the key to understanding this whole story. And that brings us right back to the central mystery. NVIDIA is a hardware company, right? OpenClaw is free software. So why would NVIDIA's team pour time, money, and resources into building a security layer for it? What's the play here? To get to the bottom of that, we first have to understand the two main characters in this drama, the AI agent itself and the incredible danger it brings to the table. So first off, what exactly is OpenClaw? Well, put simply, it's an open-sourced AI agent. It's a piece of software you run on your own computer. You can hook it up to any big AI model like GPT or Claude, and it just goes to work for you. It becomes your personal assistant. And when I say assistant, I really mean it. This thing can browse the web, read and write your personal files, run commands directly on your computer, manage your calendar, and even write and execute code. It talks to you through apps you already use, like WhatsApp or Telegram. This is exactly why it went viral. It was the powerful, do-anything agent that everyone was promised, and for the first time, it actually worked. But you know how it goes. With great power comes some really serious problems. That incredible capability, it's also its biggest weakness, especially if you're thinking about using this in any kind of professional setting. And you don't have to take my word for it. The problem was laid out by Jensen Huang himself. He said, agentic systems can access sensitive information, execute code, and communicate externally. Now, for a developer messing around at home, that's one thing. But for a bank, a hospital, that's a complete non-starter. And look, these risks were not just theoretical. OpenClaw had massive, gaping security holes. Its main gateway was just wide open, meaning literally any website you visited could try to connect to your agent. There were malicious plugins in its marketplace caught red-handed stealing user data, and it was vulnerable to prompt injection attacks, where a website could secretly hijack your agent and make it do things you never intended. Every corporate security team on the planet took one look at this and said, no way, absolutely not. Just to put a hard number on that plugin problem, Cisco's security team ran a scan on the OpenClaw plugin marketplace. They flagged a full 20% of them for malicious behavior. Think about that, 1 in 5. It was the Wild West. Okay, so what we have is an incredibly powerful tool that's just way too dangerous for any serious company to use. This is the moment NVIDIA enters the picture. And to understand why, we have to look at their history, at their classic playbook. NVIDIA has been running the same brilliant play for 2 decades. Enable the software and you'll sell the hardware. Back in 2007, they released CUDA. It made programming their GPUs way easier, and boom, suddenly everyone needed NVIDIA hardware. In the 2010s, they built the software platforms that ran underneath AI frameworks like TensorFlow, and every single AI lab rushed out to buy their GPUs. Nemo Claw is just the next chapter of that same book. Make AI agents safe for businesses, and those businesses will have to buy NVIDIA hardware to run them. So here's the crucial point. Why NVIDIA? Why are they the ones to do this? Because they are the only major player in this space without their own competing large language model. They're basically the neutral arms dealer in the AI wars. Google and OpenAI can't build a universal security layer. It would just help their competition. But NVIDIA? They don't care if you use GPT, Claude, Llama, whatever. As long as it runs on their silicon, they win. So we know the problem, and we know NVIDIA's motive. So what did they actually build to solve this? They created something called Nemo Claw, which is basically a secure, lockdown sandbox for these powerful AI agents. And you know, here's the really surprising part. The technology behind Nemo Claw isn't some revolutionary new invention. It's actually built on existing, battle-tested Linux security tools that have been around for years. The real genius here isn't the invention, it's the packaging. It's about taking these proven tools and bundling them together to solve the very specific problems of AI agents. So here's a simple breakdown of how it works. You've got the OpenClaw agent, but it's not running free anymore. It's running inside a security layer called the OpenShell runtime.
Think of this runtime like a security guard that intercepts every single thing the agent tries to do. Then, a policy engine checks that action against a set of rules that you define, and it's all enforced at the deepest level of the operating system. This gives a company total, fine-grained control. You can decide exactly which files the agent is allowed to read or write. You can control which websites it can talk to and which tools or LLMs it's allowed to use. It even has this clever privacy router, so it can send sensitive data to a secure local AI model while sending less sensitive stuff to a more powerful one in the cloud. The agent doesn't get a choice in any of this. The policy decides everything. So if the software is open source and free, where's the money? Where's the catch? Well, that brings us to the real business model behind this entire project. This analogy is just perfect. Think about the software world. Linux is the free, open-source operating system anyone can use. But Red Hat built a multi-billion-dollar business by packaging Linux for big companies, adding support and services. NVIDIA is doing the exact same thing, just for this new AI agent world. OpenClaw and Nemo Claw are the free software, and NVIDIA is selling the enterprise solution, which is their hardware. And they are not being subtle about this at all. Nemo Claw actually ships with special AI models called neutron models that are, surprise, surprise, optimized to run best on NVIDIA GPUs. And when you know it, they pair just perfectly with NVIDIA's new $4,000 DGX Spark desktop computer. They aren't selling you the agent, they're selling you the very expensive box for that agent to live in. So who is this actually for? Well, it's not for Google or Microsoft. They're just going to build their own custom solutions. No, NVIDIA is aiming this squarely at the thousands of mid-sized companies out there, banks, law firms, hospitals, all the places that want to use AI agents but don't have a giant in-house engineering team to build the security from the ground up. They need a solution they can just buy and deploy. Now, in the interest of fairness, we should add a quick dose of reality here. These are NVIDIA's own words about the project. Early stage alpha, expect rough edges. So this is not some finish, polish, ready-to-go product just yet. It's the beginning of a much longer play. And that leaves us with the big multi-billion-dollar question. NVIDIA is making a strategic play to become the standard for securing AI agents. If they pull this off, will Nemo Claw become the default platform for this new agentic era, in the same way Kubernetes became the undeniable standard for cloud containers? If the answer is yes, then NVIDIA hasn't just solved a simple security problem, they've just locked in their dominance for the next decade of computing.
Thank you. Share and subscribe to Learn AI for more AI insights.